go through and read the Dungeons and Dragons Player's Handbook. I think most people are at least somewhat familiar with Dungeons and Dragons. It's a tabletop role-playing game. It was pretty much, I think, the first, or one of the first, really. Was really influential with video games and everything. This right here is the Player's Handbook. The main book, for anyone who's going to play it, has the rules and a lot of really interesting artwork in it. And it's, I just thought it'd be maybe a fun thing to kind of read. A lot of really nice illustrations here, as you can see, and good opportunity for some really nice sounds. We could just sort of skim through it. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for about 4 years or so with some of my friends. It's a lot of fun. It really helps you use your creativity and imagination. So yeah, we can just get started. Just check. Let me just make some adjustments here. Okay, so I'm gonna adjust this here. So, page 1, Player's Handbook. Very nice. Drawing here. Table of contents. As you can see, it goes through. It has an introduction. Creating the character, all the different things that go into that, and it has rules of the game and everything. So here we can just start with the preface. Once upon a time, long, long ago, in a realm called the Midwestern United States, specifically the states of Minnesota and Wisconsin, a group of friends gathered together to forever alter the history of gaming. It wasn't their intent to do so. They were tired of merely reading tales about worlds of magic, monsters, and adventure. They wanted to play in those worlds rather than observe them. They went on to invent Dungeons and Dragons, and thereby ignite a revolution in gaming that continues to this day. Speaks to two things. First, it speaks to their ingenuity and genius in figuring out that games were the perfect way to explore worlds that could not otherwise exist. Almost every modern game, whether played on a digital device or a tabletop, owes some debt to D&D. Second, it is a testament to the inherent appeal of the game they created. Dungeons and Dragons sparked a thriving global phenomenon. It is the first role-playing game and remains one of the best of its breed. To play D&D, and to play it well, you don't need to read all the rules, memorize every detail of the game, or master the fine art of rolling funny-looking dice. None of these have any bearing on what's best about the game. What you need are two things. The first being friends with whom you can share the game. Playing games with your friends is a lot of fun, but D&D does something more than entertain. Playing D&D is an exercise in collaborative creation. You and your friends create epic stories filled with tension and memorable drama. You create silly in-jokes that make you laugh years later, dice will be cruel to you, but you will soldier on. Your collective creativity will build stories that you will tell again and again, ranging from the utterly absurd to the stuff of legend. If you don't have friends interested in playing, don't worry. There's a special alchemy that takes place around a D&D table that nothing else can match. Play the game with someone enough, and the two of you are likely to end up friends. It's a cool side effect of the game. Your next gaming group is as close as the nearest gaming store, online forum, or gaming convention. The second thing you need is a lively imagination, or, more importantly, the willingness to use whatever imagination you have. You don't need to be a master storyteller or a brilliant artist. You just need to aspire to create, to have the courage of someone who is willing to build something and share it with others. Luckily, just as D&D can strengthen your friendships, it can help build in you the confidence to create and share. D&D is a game that teaches you to look for the clever solution, share the sudden idea that can overcome a problem, and push yourself to imagine what could be rather than simply what is. The first characters and adventures you create will probably be a collection of cliches. That's true of everyone, from the greatest dungeon masters in history on down. Accept this reality and move on to create the second chapter or adventure, which will be better, and then the third, which will be better still. Repeat that over the course of time, and soon you'll be able to create anything from a character's background story to an epic world of fantasy adventure. Once you have that skill, it's yours forever. Countless writers, artists, and other creators can trace their beginnings to a few pages of D&D notes, a handful of dice, and a kitchen table. Above all else, D&D is yours. The friendships you make around the table will be unique to you. The adventures you embark on, the characters you create, the memories you make, these will be yours. D&D is your personal corner of the universe, a place where you have free reign to do as you wish. Go forth now, read the rules of the game and the story of its worlds, but always remember that you are the one who brings them to life. They are nothing without the spark of life that you give them. Mike Murrows, May 2014. So that's a pretty good introduction. Preface, really, the actual introduction is here. We'll look at that in a second, but first, I just want to sort of flip through some of the pages, and you can see some of the artwork. Here's some pictures of, the dice that gets used in D&D. You have the standard 6-sided die that most people know. You have an 8-sided die right here, 12-sided, and 20-sided. And they're all used for different things. This book is cool because it has so many full-color, full-page illustrations. And it just makes it really fun to flip through. There's another. And this is sort of the section of the book about creating your character. Dwarf, I think, there. It, kind of goes on. Here's another one. Looks like a party of characters around a campfire. And, as you can see, I have some sticky notes to mark some places in the book that I might need to turn to quickly or often. Like for instance, one of my characters I was playing as was a rogue, so I, put a sticky note here. The page has some nice artwork that really captures kind of what the rogue play style is like. It's like a stealth kind of, sneaking around type of thing. It has a chart with, what you do, what you get as you level up your character. Lots of information here. This page, it has some sample alphabet of some of the languages in the game, in case you wanted to write something down in one of these dwarfish or elvish, draconic, to help immersion. So if you were a DM or something, you could write maybe a note or a journal entry that the characters find, and you could write it out in the actual alphabet, and then the characters could translate it, and could just add like an extra layer to the world. Pretty neat. Here's a nice illustration of a bar fight. Looks like some sort of brawl going on here. Looks like an elf getting hit with a stool. Looks like she's casting some sort of spell here. Really neat. There's definitely been campaigns where we've gotten into bar fight brawls. This area is for choosing your character's background and personality traits. They have some examples here, like I fall in and out of love easily, and I'm always pursuing someone. That's a possible trait your character could have. Or I lie about almost everything, even when there's no good reason to. Another one, things like that. Lots of ways to flesh out your character. You could also just make up your own, it doesn't really matter. A lot of really cool pictures. The whole book is full of illustrations. There's another one here. Chapter 5, equipment. So this sort of goes over, the different types of equipment that's in the game. Let's see here, that's the types of currency. Gold, electrum, silver, copper, platinum, and the exchange rate. Different types of armor here with the stats. Weapons, this whole section's got different types of weapons. Another picture here. This is another place I had a sticky note. Adventuring gear. Lots of all sorts of different stuff. Things like an abacus, parchment, perfume, clothes, crowbar, just all the sort of miscellaneous items that your characters might have or find or use throughout an adventure. Another interesting picture, it's like some characters riding horses, or it's like they're in a sort of wagon or cart being pulled by, pulled by a horse up here. Yeah, they're in a cart. Customization, that's what we went past. So this whole first section we just flipped through is creating a character. So basically, designing what sort of character you want to play as and choosing their skills or attributes, Then here's another nice full-page illustration for playing the game. These are the actual rules of the game. You can see a party of characters fighting a giant dragon here. So this just goes over how you, there's another one. Looks like a thief character, you can see. Looks like she's sort of rappelling down through a glass ceiling sort of thing, stealing looks like either a skull or some sort of helmet, maybe. And this just goes over the rules and game mechanics, sort of how the game plays out. This is the combat section. And then the entire third part of the book is really just going over magic. There's so much. Magic plays such a huge role in Dungeons and Dragons. This is a nice double-sided full illustration. The whole book is full of them. I mean, there's probably lots that we missed. Rules about spell casting, and then there's just pages and pages of different spells. I think almost the whole rest of the book is spells. I don't know how many there are. It must be well over 100. I think this is all the spells in the whole game, but and then an appendix, about some things. Then in the back the book, you get a character sheet, which is what you use during gameplay. You put your character's name up top. You have their skills and abilities, equipment, any features or anything. You can put their background. There's a spot to draw a sketch of your character, and then a whole other sheet for spells. And just the idea is you just photocopy this from the book and use it when you play, because the game sort of just takes place mostly in your imagination. Some people use miniatures or maps and stuff, but all you need to play the game is really just a character sheet and a good imagination. So I'll go back to the beginning and read some of the introduction. Okay, so first, get some nice sounds from this. Dungeons & Dragons role-playing game is about storytelling in worlds of swords and sorcery. It shares elements with childhood games of make-believe. Like those games, D&D is driven by imagination. It's about picturing the towering castle beneath the stormy night sky and imagining how a fantasy adventurer might react to the challenges that scene presents. Here's a little excerpt for how a gameplay session might go. Dungeon Master. After passing through the craggy peaks, the road takes a sudden turn to the east, and Castle Ravenloft towers before you. Crumbling towers of stone keep a silent watch over the approach. They look like abandoned guardhouses. Beyond these, a wide chasm gapes, disappearing into the deep fog below. A lowered drawbridge spans the chasm, leading to an arched entrance to the castle courtyard. The chains of the drawbridge creak in the wind, their rust-eaten iron straining with the weight. From atop the high, strong walls, stone gargoyles stare at you from the hollow sockets and grin hideously. A rotting wooden portcullis, green with growth, hangs in the entry tunnel. Beyond this, the main doors of Castle Ravenloft stand open, a rich, warm light spilling into the courtyard. Philip, playing Gareth, says, "I want to look at the gargoyles. I have a feeling they're not just statues." Amy, playing Riva, says, "The drawbridge looks precarious. I want to see how sturdy it is. Do I think we can cross it, or is it going to collapse under our weight?" Unlike a game of make-believe, D&D gives structure to the stories, a way of determining the consequences of the adventurer's action. Players roll dice to resolve whether their attacks hit or miss, or whether their adventurers can scale a cliff, roll away from a strike of a magical lightning bolt, or pull off some other dangerous task. Anything is possible, but the dice make some outcomes more probable than others. Another example, Dungeon Master says, "Okay, one at a time. Philip, you're looking at the gargoyles?" Philip says, "Yeah. Is there any hint they might be creatures and not decorations?" DM says, "Make an intelligence check." Philip says, "Does my investigation skill apply?" DM, "Sure." Philip, rolling a d20. That's a 20-sided die. Says, 7. DM says, "They look like decorations to you." And Amy, Riva is checking out the drawbridge. In the Dungeons & Dragons game, each player creates an adventurer, also called a character, and teams up with other adventurers, played by friends. Working together, the group might explore a dark dungeon, a ruined city, a haunted castle, a lost temple deep in a jungle, or a lava-filled cavern beneath a mysterious mountain. The adventurers can solve puzzles, talk with other characters, battle fantastic monsters, and discover fabulous magic items and other treasure. One player, however, takes on the role of the Dungeon Master, the DM, the game's lead storyteller and referee. The DM creates adventures for the character, who navigate its hazards and decide which paths to explore. The DM might describe the entrance to Castle Ravenloft, and the players decide what they want their adventurers to do. Will they walk across the dangerously weathered drawbridge, tie themselves together with rope to minimize the chance that someone will fall if the drawbridge gives way, or cast a spell to carry them over the chasm? Then the DM determines the results of the adventurer's actions and narrates what they experience. Because the DM can improvise to react to anything the player one story or quest wraps up, another one can begin, creating an ongoing story called a campaign. Many people who play the game keep their campaigns going for months or years, meeting with their friends every week or so to pick up the story where they left off. The adventurers grow in might as the campaign continues. Each monster defeated, each adventure completed, and each treasure recovered not only adds to the continuing story, but also earns the adventurers new capabilities. This increase in power is reflected by an adventurer's level. There's no winning and losing in the Dungeons & Dragons game, at least not the way those terms are usually understood. Together, the DM and the players create an exciting story of bold adventurers who confront deadly perils. Sometimes an adventurer might come to a grisly end, torn apart by the ferocious monsters or done in by a nefarious villain. Even so, the other adventurers can search for powerful magic to revive their fallen comrade, or the player might choose to create a new character to carry on. The group might fail to complete an adventure successfully, but if everyone had a good time and created a memorable story, they all win. And that's sort of where we are. This is pretty neat. I'm definitely going to come back and go through and read some more of the book if you guys like this and find it interesting. I'm currently just starting. I've been playing for a few years as a player. The past few weeks I've been starting to take on the DM role with some of my friends, so future videos I might go through some of the scenarios we're doing and maybe read from those, if anyone's interested in that. So, I'm gonna stop for now and continue in a future video. But I do have a lot of other things planned for coming days or weeks. So definitely subscribe and stay tuned for that.